Hello, Sarah here with Tenderfoot Village. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to make this 13-inch standing gnome. To begin, we're going to need our cone and a piece of fleece material. We're going to begin by rolling the fleece material up and applying some hot glue, pulling tight, and just making sure that hot glue meets the other piece of the fleece material. Once we have that done, we're going to cut off our excess and set this aside. We're not going to throw that excess piece away because we're going to use it later. So then we're going to tie off the top. Once we have the top tied off, we're going to cut that excess piece off of the top. I also like to seal the top with a little bit of hot glue. Then we're going to flip it over and work on the bottom. So right now I'm just trimming down a little bit of that excess material, and I'm snipping the bottom all the way around. Next, I'm applying hot glue all the way around it to get those pieces to lay down flat. Once I've finished hot gluing, I'm going to grab that excess material and I'm going to take my little pattern piece and cut out two circles, one for the nose and one for the base of the cone. At this point, I'm marking where I want the dowel rods to go. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of hot glue and just apply it to one part of the fleece. This is going to allow me to have a secure grip whenever I begin this next step. At this point, I like to take my X-Acto knife or a pair of scissors and just begin cutting a spot for the dowels to go in. Now I'm going to finish applying the hot glue all the way around the base of the cone. Now we're ready to create the nose, so you're going to use 2 cotton balls this time and just gather up all of that material towards the middle and then grab an elastic and tie it off. Once I've done that, I like to trim up the edges. Next, I decide on placement of the nose, and then I apply hot glue and place it. For this next step, I'm using 2 dowel rods and a cutting tool, and I'm just going to cut off the excess of the dowel rod. Once I get both dowel rods cut, I'm going to begin inserting them up into the comb form. Once I've got them as deep as I like, I'm going to apply a good amount of hot glue and put the dowels back into the cone. Now we're ready to apply our beard to the cone, so we're going to cut out a section in the middle, and it needs to be big enough to fit around the nose. Once I get the beard material glued underneath the nose, I like to apply a little more hot glue above the nose and pull the beard together. At this point, we're ready to begin making our leggings. To do this, I take a sock and I cut it up the middle. I had already done that in this before I started recording, so I'm showing you the sock together and kind of how I cut it up the middle. So once I've cut up the middle and then cut the tip off of the toe, I'm going to begin hot gluing all the way down one side and pressing them together. I'm going to do this for both sides of the socks and for both socks. Once I'm done hot gluing all of my pieces, I'm going to flip them right side out. And once I've flipped them right side out, I'm going to go ahead and insert the arm pieces. Now I'm going to take the leg pieces and slip them onto the dowel rods. I'm going to scoot these up pretty far to give myself enough room on the bottom to work with. Now I'm going to start working on the feet. So I get these shoe forms on Amazon or at the Dollar Tree. They are found inside of the little baby booties from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take 2 of these plastic forms, and I also found this plastic cutting mat from the Dollar Tree, and I love to use these for the soles of the feet. So now I'm going to take the sole pattern and I'm going to trace it out onto the cutting mat and then cut it out. I'm going to do 2 of these, one for each shoe. Once I have the two soles cut out, I'm going to add nuts to the top of them. I'm going to put a larger one at the front and a smaller one at the back. This will add some weight to help balance the gnome when he's standing. And I'm just making sure that the plastic form fits over, and then I'm going to glue them down. Once I have them glued down where I like them, I'm going to apply tape to hold the form and the sole together. Once I have both feet taped, I'm going to take my glue gun and create the hole and begin filling it with hot glue. I like to check the balance as well once I complete this step, just to make sure that he's not leaning one way or the other. Once we've positioned the legs how we like them, we're ready to begin working on the hat. I've taken my pattern and cut out a large triangle, and right now I'm deciding if I want to glue or if I want to sew. For me this time, I'm going to sew this part, but you can always hot glue it down. Either way works just fine. So I've sewed this edge, and now I'm actually going to hot glue the long edge. Once I've finished gluing the hat, I'm going to set it aside and begin working on the arms. I like to glue the arms with the seam facing the back, and I like to measure them by the length of the cone. And I like to just make sure that the bottom of the arm or the hand is going to meet at the base of the cone. Once I like the placement, I'm going to glue the arms on, and once that's done, I'm going to move on to the next and final step, which is adding the socks and placing the hat and hands. Now I'm ready to add the socks over the foot forms and then add the hat and any other embellishments that I'd like to add at the end to kind of create his character. Now that I'm ready to add the hat, I want to make sure I clip off the little tip and then turn my hat right side out. Once the hat's been placed, I'm ready to add the hands. So I'm just taking two wooden beads and I'm placing them to where the hole is facing up and down when you look at the hand, and I'm just adding them with hot glue and then scooting the sleeves down. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I also hope that you'll try making one of these guys yourself.